It's the Wendy Williams Show.
How you doing? The kids have come to play today. You won't believe what I'm about to tell you. With all due respect, have several seats. My girls are always turned out. I give it to you straight, no chaser.
Now, here's Wendy.
Let's have some fun. Come on. Okay. Welcome to Monday. I'm glad you're watching. My co-host, my studio audience. I'm doing okay. Let's get started. It's time for Hot Topics. So good. So good. Well, I'm happy to be here today. We've got 2 Chainz here. And our boy Michael Yo is in the building from The Insider with shocking details about Bobby Christina's autopsy report and Scott Disick's latest antics. So, good show. All right, so the thing about the OJ knife, first of all, the murder was over 20 years ago. And you know, he can't be tried again for the murder, you know that. The construction worker found the knife when they were demolishing OJ's house 18 years ago. Now, to me, the bigger question is, I wonder how they came to the conclusion that the home should just be demolished. Because there's a lot of times, you know, if you're in the market for a home, I don't know about you, I don't want anybody to have died in my home. I also don't want to buy a home from a killer. You know, it's more than just a good roof and good pipes that sell a home. So maybe the killation, the alleged killation by OJ, maybe the killation was the reason that they demolished the house. But then again, do you build a house on the property of a killer? See, I don't. You can take the house away, but the ghosts still say boogada boogada boo. And and I know that Nicole did not, meet her demise in OJ's house, but same sticky, nasty situation. Anyway, so the construction worker gave the knife to the cop. The cop is a real cop with a gun and a billy club, but he was just doing, street traffic that day. I guess when you do a demo job, there are a lot of trucks that have to be, escorted in and out of the street and the driveway and whatnot. So this cop was sitting there, and the construction worker gave it to the cop, and the cop kept it. Well, if the killing has already been done, if the trial is over, wouldn't you keep a souvenir like that? I mean, I don't want to admit it, but as long as I have backup, then I can admit it. Okay, because my thought is, things from celebrities are kind of a big deal. Like, you never know who's going to be big. When I went to the bathroom at the Playboy Mansion, I was going to keep, one of the tchotchkes, all that crap that people sit on the sink and, in their house and stuff. But I was just nervous because I said, well, maybe there's a camera here or something like that, But, yeah, the OJ knife, that would have been a nice keepsake. Although, I don't think this is the knife that he used to kill Nicole. I mean, allegedly. The reason why is because it's a folding knife. It seems as though the knife used to kill somebody would be, a stiff knife with a long, sharp blade. Not a folding knife. Anyway, so will the guy be prosecuted, the cop? I don't know. I don't feel as though first of all, he's like 70 years old, he's already retired. They can't take away his pension, there's nothing that they can do to him other than maybe give him a slap on the wrist. And that's all it should be. Everyone's already talking about the OJ case because of the TV show. And a lot of people in my morning meeting were saying, well, do you think that this is coming out just in time for the case? I said, well, I don't believe that there's a conspiracy theory, like watch the show because, let's talk about a lot of OJ stuff so people watch the show. The show is a runaway hit Tuesday nights. They don't need any more chat about. I'm just feeling like Bill Cosby's happy. You know what I mean? Because we're not talking about him. Anyway, OJ, is up for parole in October of 2017, which means the juice could be on the loose. Now, if OJ moves next door to you, do you move? Yes! Clap if you stay. Yeah. He's supposed to be doing, 30 years in jail?
Sentenced to 33 years.
33 years in jail for stealing his memorabilia back. But he's up for parole, you all. And listen, he's been a really good jailbird. You don't hear a peep out of him. Every time I read the magazines, all I see, he's got health troubles. He's gained a lot of weight. His eyes are always really red. But he doesn't cause trouble in there. So he might get paroled for good behavior. Do you understand what that would mean for the rest of us? Just saying. So moving on. Speaking of jail, so Phaedra last night in Atlanta took the president and vice president, her cute sons, took them to see Apollo in prison. Well, she had been holding off on doing this. She wasn't sure that she wanted to do this. I suspect part of it is that she's pissed, which is a normal emotion. And then the other part is maybe she was thinking boys, these boys don't need to go to prison and see their father in this particular case. Anyway, the cameras weren't allowed in the prison, but they were allowed outside. So we saw Phaedra fly from Atlanta to Philadelphia, and then she got in the car service with her mom. I'm happy that Phaedra has her mom. You know what I mean? She seems like a very calming force. Anyway, drove from Philly to New Jersey. He's in Fort Dix, in the prison in South Jersey, Fort Dix. And they're a family-friendly prison. And so the boys went in with Phaedra and the cameras had to stop, but they caught the boys' reaction to seeing their dad on the way back home. And I'll just say that their reaction was very indifferent, but take a look.
So, Aiden, what'd you think when your daddy walked out? What'd you think about his hair?
I did not quite like it.
How was his hair?
He had a mohawk.
Okay. Apollo was definitely happy to see us, but I thought that Dylan and Aiden would be a little more excited, but they're getting a little antsy because they don't have any toys and their attention span isn't that long.
I just think that they're a little young to be going to a prison to see their dad. If I were in prison, God forbid, I wouldn't want my kid to see me in such a decrepit state, at all. And, I'd send pictures, but the pictures would be out in the prison yard where there's no fence with the spiral thing. What do you call that? The barbed wire. Maybe a shrub behind me or something. And maybe so you couldn't tell it's a prison uniform, and then you take the right selfie or something like that. I feel as though prison is not a place for kids to be visiting, but if you're gonna do it, then you do it with your children that are old enough to be able to do a little processing, like get on the Googler and be able to process this. And I think that the processing age probably begins around 12 for something as heavy as prison, 12 and up. Those little boys did not need to be in the prison. And I understand that Apollo, as well as other prisoners, you know, you need a calming force and sometimes getting visits from you, but you should have thought about that before you did what you did. So. Anyway, how you doing, Apollo? Hey, inmates. All right, so the R&B singers Tank and Tyrese, you're familiar with both. They've both been here. Who'd you rather? Clap if it's Tyrese. Clap if it's Tank. Well, I must say, that was about, Suzanne, that was about 75% of people clap for Tyrese.
Yes, more people clap
Which
for
is why
Tyrese.
I don't understand why you all are fighting, you know? Okay, Tank, Tyrese, and Genuine formed that super group called TGT. That's Genuine in the middle. And the group recently broke up, and now Tank is blaming Tyrese for the split. Well, you know what, Tank? You got 25% of the claps, Tyrese got 75%. And I like all three of them, you know, but, you know, pow, so I gotta shoot straight. They're saying that Tyrese wanted to get paid more than the others. Well, listen, when this group was formed, who was in Fast and Furious 1 through 15? Tyrese. When this group formed, other than Pony from Magic Mike, where was Genuine? And when this group formed, we all knew who Tank was, but Tank, all due respect, you're no Tyrese. When this group formed, he was the bigger star out of all three of yous. And that alone is the reason that I feel that he did deserve a few extra dollars compared to the other guys. Yeah. I'm not getting paid the same as you. Whoopi's not getting paid the same as Raven. Raven's brand new. No, you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? If you start something, invent a group or a talk show or something like that, and all yous are on the same level, then everybody gets paid the same. But if you start something where one has a little bit more popularity than the others, then you get paid based on your popularity and how bad your agent can finagle you more money. Paula's not getting paid what Whoopi gets paid. Paula and Michelle are probably getting paid the same over at The View. You know what I mean? We know them both, but they're no Whoopi. They're no Joy Behar. As a matter of fact, Joy Behar is no Whoopi. If I had to guess who's getting paid the most at The View, I would say Whoopi. And then Joy. And then, even though we know who Raven is, I bet you Raven's probably getting somewhere near to what Paula and Michelle are getting. This is a stupid reason to break up, so now you cut off all the coins just to spite one. Great, Tyrese, Tank, and Genuine. So, it could really happen, you all. Donald Trump could really be your next president. And people are now talking about Melania. They're just beginning. Because believe me, if he gets the nomination, they are gonna go in on the entire Trump family. They are gonna go through layers of family members, the alcoholics, the bank robbers, the whatever's going on, you know, the meth heads. They're gonna go in on the family. Like, no family is that perfect. I mean, they look perfect from the outside though, don't they? So Melania is 45 years old, and she would be our, the first FLOTUS, they call that First Lady of the United States. She would be the first lady of the United States to ever appear nude in a magazine. Well, she's only 45, and she's still a very beautiful woman with a very, very thick accent. She's from Slovenia. She's from Slovenia.
Yeah.
And she would be our second first lady not born in the United States. John Quincy Adams' wife was born in England. And that's your history lesson for today. Thank you. Now, I like Melania. I like Melania as being married to Donald. I like her as a socialite. I like her as a businesswoman. She's got potions and lotions and serums and stuff. But as a first lady, me no likey. And she told Howard Stern back in 2000, she probably figured no one would dig this up, but that's what we do here, Melania. She told Howard that she and Donald have an incredible sex life. They have sex at least once a day. Okay, well now you compare their sex life with his hand thing. Which, by the way, between him not being presidential and now the nude thing and her talking about their sex life, this is all way too much. Like, I don't wanna know. I mean, I like to be able to look at people and know that they're very, very affectionate towards one another. But when it comes to the president, I just don't like to hear it talked about. But she's some kind of stylish woman, huh? I mean, she would inject style, and based on what their apartment looks like here in Manhattan, there would be plenty of chandeliers. They'd tear out all of the old carpeting and rip down all the walls, and everything would be gold and gilded, which, by the way, is my taste, totally. Listen. I feel like in some way I'm related to the dearly departed Liberace. Like that whole style, that is totally me. So the idea that they would go in there, I guess, and redo the White House, and then she's got the foreign birth, and he's got the big mouth. What a hot mess. But does that just reflect what 2016 and beyond is? Is that a reflection of society? Because, I do miss the days of a civilized White House. Now, I wasn't really down with the Reagans. I wasn't voting back then, but, and rest in peace, Nancy Reagan. But, she really did do a great job being a refined first lady. And she always seemed to just look at him like the first date. I mean, you might not go along with, what his policies were and stuff like that, but you gotta admit, these two really loved each other. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when you love each other so much, one passes away and then the other passes away the next week. And, he's been gone for a decade?
Yeah,
over 20 years.
Over 20 years? Yeah. Maybe she didn't love him. No, I'm playing, no. Playing. No, but she really did, I don't know, Melania as a first lady, I don't see. But if he wins, she comes along for the ride. There you have it. So Charlie Sheen is apparently having some major financial troubles. Remember, it was just like a couple of years ago, we talked about Charlie Sheen like he had money to burn. I mean, when he was on 2.5 Men, he was making like almost $700,000 a month, right? A month. And then he went on to his sitcom Anger Management, but that's not on anymore. Anyway, he's currently paying one of his exes, Brooke Mueller. That's the one who went into rehab and who has his 2 twins. The boys are now 6 years old. Well, he's paying Brooke $55,000 a month, and he's saying that he needs it reduced, he just can't afford it anymore. Now, either one of 2 things. Either he's lying, you know, and has a lot of money, you know, diverted to offshore accounts, or he's telling the truth. And I can believe the truth, too. Because I don't picture Charlie being the type to buy a lot of stuff. I think that if he doesn't have this money, it's because it was probably blown on, well, he does like a nice watch. He does like a nice watch, and he had a very, very big watch collection. But outside of that, I think that Charlie spent the lion's share of his money, in my mind, on keeping his drug habit and his hooas on shush. And the way you do that, instead of flying first class, you fly private every place you go. So, you know, you take a jet every place. That's very expensive. You know, then, you know, something goes down with one of the girls, you have to pay her off. That can be very expensive. Then you need somebody to look out for you. You know, I'm an ex-offender, and I remember the paranoia was crazy. So he probably spent a lot of money on sober people being around him, covering the perimeter of the house, so that he wouldn't have to have the paranoia. You know what I mean? And then, I mean, just ridiculous spending. He's paying Brooke. He pays Brooke and Denise, between the 2 of them, he pays them each $660,000 a year. It's over $1.3 million in child support alone. So the money train has run out and he wants it reduced. Even if he gets it reduced, say he gets it reduced to $15,000 a month, which is a respectable amount of money for twins who are 6 years old. But imagine if you're used to making $55,000 a month, how your life has to scale back. I don't know, but this should be a lesson to all women. If you are currently getting child support and your man is making great money, there is no guarantee that he'll be making that great money tomorrow or the following week. So instead of spending all the money on, you know, bags and stuff for yourself, you know, you should hide a lot of that money so that when the day does come, and 80% of you, the day will come. You know, when the day does come where he's not paying you that money, you have your stash over here on the side. I want to follow this story because I want to see exactly what it gets reduced to, you know, and the court system does go through finances with a fine-tooth comb. So if he is hiding money, hopefully it's not in an offshore account. Hopefully it's like in a hole in his backyard, like OJ's knife. You know, something like that.